News. Moments ago, we learned that New York City police arrested a man they say went berserk.
They say the bodega cashier was killed in the Mott Deli on Friday.
Nieves now faces multiple counts, including murder and criminal possession of a weapon. He's accused of shooting
of a Bronx woman.
Those flyers offering a $2,500 reward for any information that leads to an arrest. We're live in Mott Haven. Natalie Dudridge, CBS 2 News.
In the Mott Haven section of the Bronx, Lisa Rosner, CBS 2 News.
Section of the Mott Haven section of the Bronx.
Mott Haven section of the Bronx.
Mott Haven section of the Bronx.
Mott Haven, New York. Unless you're from the city, you're probably not aware of the Mott Haven neighborhood, where it is, its current image, its history. However, just from a quick Google search, Mott Haven is pretty negatively perceived, both in the public eye and on social media. Danger, lack of safety, these are terms that have come to be associated with the area. Perhaps these opinions of Mott Haven are warranted. In a survey conducted on Mott Haven residents, most residents thought that safety was the largest priority. However, Mott Haven catches flack for a lot more than their lack of safety.
Located in the South Bronx, Mott Haven unfortunately has been coined the poorest neighborhood within the poorest borough. Mott Haven is deficient in practically any category you can name. The neighborhood leads New York in poverty rate, obesity rate, air pollution, substance use, incarceration rate, and lack of education. Residents of the South Bronx also reported significantly lower household incomes and much higher poverty rates. However, while the Mott Haven residents live and struggle with these deficiencies firsthand every day, they are not to blame for the poor quality of their neighborhood. They are targets of an institutional prejudice that has actively oppressed the people of the South Bronx by propagating racism and maintaining the wealth gap.
The South Bronx didn't have a say in the building of Robert Moses Cross Bronx Expressway that displaced thousands of families. They didn't have a say in how neighborhoods have been redlined by politicians, causing the severe underfunding of the South Bronx. They didn't have a say in the stop and frisk policies that pushed environmental racism, and they didn't have a say in the relocation of Fresh Direct, which only added to their already poor air quality.
And yet, despite these circumstances, the people of Mott Haven don't crumble. They make do with what they have, pioneer new culture, celebrate their heritage, and embrace differences. This is where hip-hop originated, where graffiti became a means of art. The South Bronx has impacted the modern generation in incredible ways. These people took their bottled emotions and difficult upbringings and channeled them into a form of art that has forever changed the world today. Mott Haven has taken seemingly ordinary places and transformed them into popular hubs where people can meet, enjoy food and music, create art, or host festivals. The idea of Mott Haven as a community has really strengthened within the past few decades. This can be greatly accredited to the perseverance of people that live in the South Bronx and organizations such as South Bronx Unite. When New York City forgot about South Bronx, it was the steadfast minority community that saved it. South Bronx has always been about the people.
Most recently, Mayor de Blasio created controversy when he announced that he was going to close Rikers Island and build borough-based jails to replace it. The residents of Mott Haven in particular were opposed to Mayor de Blasio's plans because, unlike other boroughs, the jail in the Bronx would be built in the Mott Haven neighborhood rather than next to the borough courthouse.
I think young children grow up and see a jail across the street and act like that maybe that's our future.
So the site where the jail will be built was originally an NYPD tow pound. Through the ULIP process, it's been rezoned for M14/R7X zoning. As for the jail's height, it will be around 185 feet, which is absolutely massive in context. As we mentioned earlier, the site's already been rezoned for R7X projects, meaning in theory we could propose a mixed-use apartment project on the 350 by 100 foot lot. Zoning laws mean that the max height will only be 145 feet, making it shorter than the jail. The only problem is that proposing a project on the site would mean that the jail is inevitable, and that's just something that the community doesn't want.
What did you want to talk about?
Okay, so that's our predicament. As architects, we've been tasked with solving an impossible problem, an issue of perspectives, and we're on the clock here. So we're supposed to propose a project on a site that no one wants to see get built, because that would mean the jail is coming too. And even if we can get the neighbors to get on board, the project's gonna need to be profitable to be realized. So I'm not sure how that's gonna play out, you know?
Okay, I think that settles it then. If we want to present our argument in good faith, then we need to present through both perspectives.
Okay, so let's go back to the systemic problems that take place in Mott Haven. We want to address the issues we observed, but obviously we can't solve them with one project. Education, healthcare, these are institutional issues. What we need to show is that we're invested in the community.
That's why we've chosen to focus on the community's overall health. Our idea of health encapsulates economic health, physical health, and communal health. Our final program consists of a co-working space, a gym, a clinic, a fresh food market, a local cafe, a library, and a ground-level park. These programs are completely accessible through a separate elevator core and lobby designed specifically for the commercial spaces. The local cafe, library, clinic, and marketplace make up the first floor, while the fresh food market also occupies a floor below ground. On the third and fourth floor is a gym, while the fourth and fifth floors are occupied by a co-working space and public library. These programs are meant to stimulate the economy, bring more immediate healthcare to the site, make fresh foods more accessible, and make education readily available. Regarding the design of the public plaza, ultimately, we cannot get rid of the jail. However, what we can do is destigmatize the jail so that it isn't thought as another stain on the community. Instead, our hope is that the public plaza will act as a way to activate the street and create a new community hub for the people of Mott Haven.
As for the apartments themselves, 40% of the apartments will be allotted for supportive housing with a social service component attached on the first floor. Where we want to separate ourselves from previous developers in Mott Haven is our desire to retain the identity of the community. We've seen the new projects being built in Mott Haven, namely Deegan Towers. Sure, it's a nice, luxurious project, but it doesn't address any specific thing about Mott Haven. With prices on the rise, we find it to be a necessity that the people aren't priced out of their own homes. Also, by providing a social service office directly below our apartments, we aim to close the somewhat tumultuous relationship between city services and residents. The residents of Mott Haven are not to be neglected, but instead acknowledged.
Each unit is designed for maximum comfort and efficiency. Residents may choose from several unit types to best fit their needs. We pay particular attention to the communal spaces of the apartment, making sure that it was open and welcoming. All of our unit types include a module with movable walls. This was done to accommodate for changing living dynamics. These movable walls can either create a room or slide away to create a more spacious living area. Furthermore, units are angled outwards from the facade to provide more views and allow light into the apartment. Within each floor, we have made the design choice to leave void spaces in between the apartments. Spaces range from 10 feet by 24 feet to 20 feet by 24 feet. Our intention here is to give a voice to the community that will reside on each floor. Unlike house living, apartment living often lacks a community aspect. By creating these spaces for the community, we hope to create lasting neighborhood bonds. Furthermore, as mentioned previously, Mott Haven's residents have often been neglected by various city services in their needs and wants. Our void spaces give the residents autonomy and the opportunity to decide what their community needs. Possible programs are a communal kitchen, reading room, playroom, and classroom.
Ultimately, our vision for Rehaven is to give the people of Mott Haven another chance. We aim to set a new precedent of living within the community, a place that responds not only to the demands of young, prospective families, but also the required flexibility of aging families.
Furthermore, we want to empower residents with the initiative to decide what their community's wants and needs are, and the opportunity to make them real. Our project by no means is a final solution, but instead a step forward to a greater goal. We hope we can inspire other architects and developers to do the same.
I've been thinking about how we should wrap up our project, like what our big oppositions are. We do have that slight setback issue, but I feel like we can fix that easily with the ULIP process. What I'm most concerned about at the end of the day is like how the community will react to it. Like the community support is what matters the most. But I guess like all we can do now is hope that they like it.